Hello, fellow brothers. Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. Why people who betray Sigmas always regret it. There's something uniquely powerful about a Sigma. They don't demand attention, yet they command respect. They don't conform to societal rules, but they're far from rebels without a cause. Instead, Sigmas exist in a realm of quiet strength, authenticity, and independence. They're the kind of people who leave an indelible mark on those they encounter. But what happens when someone betrays a Sigma? Here's the truth. It's almost always a decision they'll come to regret. Not because Sigmas are vengeful or vindictive, they're far above petty games, but because losing a Sigma means losing someone extraordinary. Sigmas bring value that isn't easily found elsewhere. They're thoughtful and self-reliant. They offer rare wisdom, loyalty, and a level of understanding that most people crave but don't often experience. When betrayed, they don't cause a scene or beg for explanations. Instead, they do what they do best, walk away carrying their strength and dignity with them. If you've ever wondered why Sigmas carry such an aura of respect or why their absence stings so much, this is a video you need to watch. It's a call to recognize the quiet power of Sigmas and to remind you of the impact you can have when you embrace your own Sigma traits. Watch now and discover what makes Sigmas unforgettable and why betrayal is never worth the cost. Let's get started, brothers, and don't forget to let us know your thoughts in the comments section, as I do love to hear from you. Number 1, Sigmas don't forget, they strategize. Sigmas don't react to betrayal the way most people do. They're not the type to throw tantrums, seek revenge, or wallow in self-pity. Instead, they internalize the experience, dissect it with surgical precision, and extract every ounce of insight it holds. While others might let emotions cloud their judgment, Sigmas see betrayal as an unexpected opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. The power of a Sigma lies in their ability to think several steps ahead. When someone betrays them, it's not just a momentary loss. It's a shift in the dynamic that they'll use to their advantage. Sigmas don't just move on, they move forward with purpose. They analyze the motives behind the betrayal, reflect on their own role in the situation, and figure out how to shield themselves from similar experiences in the future. What truly sets them apart is their uncanny ability to turn pain into power. While a betrayal might momentarily sting, it never breaks them. In fact, it sharpens their instincts and reinforces their resolve. They don't get stuck in the past, replaying the hurt or seeking validation. Instead, they focus on recalibrating their goals, reinforcing their boundaries, and building stronger foundations for the future. Betrayers often fail to see what they're up against. A Sigma doesn't forget, because every betrayal becomes a stepping stone toward greater strength, deeper wisdom, and an unshakable sense of purpose. Number 2, they reveal the betrayer's true character through inaction. Sigmas have a way of handling betrayal that catches people off guard. They don't lash out, make a scene, or stoop to the level of those who wronged them. Instead, they choose silence and restraint, allowing the situation to play out on its own. This is not passivity, it's intentional, strategic, and incredibly effective. By stepping back, they let the betrayer's actions speak louder than anything they could ever say. People who betray often assume they've outsmarted or overpowered their victim. But what they fail to see is that a Sigma doesn't need to defend themselves. Their actions and reputation speak for them. While the betrayer scrambles to justify their behavior or manipulate the narrative, the Sigma's calm inaction magnifies the betrayal itself. The more the betrayer tries to cover their tracks, the more their true character becomes evident to others. What's remarkable is how effortlessly this happens. Sigmas understand that truth has a way of surfacing, and they have no interest in forcing it. They trust that people with discernment will see the situation for what it is, and those who don't aren't worth their energy. This approach often leaves the betrayer exposed, alienated, and regretting their choices. Meanwhile, the Sigma moves on unbothered, their dignity intact, and their circle of trust fortified. It's a powerful lesson. Sometimes the best response to betrayal is no response at all, and Sigmas have mastered this to perfection. Number 3, they don't chase closure, they create it. Sigmas approach betrayal differently than most people. They don't wait for apologies, explanations, or any grand gestures of remorse. They don't need someone else to grant them closure because they know that true peace comes from within. Sigmas take control of their healing process, refusing to let someone else's actions dictate their emotional state. This self-reliance is a powerful tool that sets them apart and often leaves their betrayers unsettled. When betrayed, many people seek confrontation, hoping to find answers or force accountability, not Sigmas. They understand that chasing closure is a futile effort when dealing with someone who has already shown a lack of integrity. Instead, they focus on themselves, processing the pain, learning the lesson, and moving forward with a renewed sense of clarity. This approach is what makes them so unforgettable to those who've wronged them. The betrayer is left with unresolved questions. Why didn't they fight back? Why didn't they demand an explanation? How can they just move on? These lingering doubts create a sense of unease and guilt that the betrayer can't escape. Meanwhile, the Sigma quietly rebuilds their life, stronger and wiser. Their lack of dependence on external validation sends a clear message. They don't need the betrayer to acknowledge their wrongdoing or make things right. They've already done it themselves, and for the one who betrayed them, that kind of self-possession is a haunting reminder of what they lost. Number 4, their emotional depth makes betrayal more impactful. Sigmas are not the loudest in the room when it comes to emotions, but their quiet depth is undeniable. They don't trust easily, and when they do, it's because they've deemed someone worthy of their time, energy, and loyalty. This makes their connections profound, even if they're not always obvious. Beneath their reserved exterior lies a rare ability to understand and support those they care about, creating bonds that are built on genuine respect and authenticity. When someone betrays a Sigma, it's not just the act itself that causes harm, it's the realization of what's been lost. Sigmas invest in relationships with intention and care, which makes their trust incredibly valuable. Breaking that trust isn't just a mistake, it's a missed opportunity to maintain something truly extraordinary. Betrayers often take this for granted, blinded by short-term thinking or selfish motives. The real regret sets in when they understand the depth of what they've damaged. Sigmas don't form superficial attachments, and their loyalty isn't something that can be easily replaced. When the bond is broken, it's gone for good. The betrayer is left grappling with the emptiness of their actions, often wishing they could undo the hurt they caused. Meanwhile, the Sigma moves forward, protecting their emotional depth and reserving it for those who truly deserve it. The loss isn't theirs. It's entirely on the one who failed to value the rarity of their connection. Number 5, they force betrayers to reevaluate their motives. Betraying a Sigma isn't something that can easily be brushed off or rationalized. After the act, the betrayer is often left facing an uncomfortable reality, a mirror held up to their own flaws and insecurities. Sigmas don't chase confrontation or escalate conflicts. Instead, their quiet strength and unwavering authenticity create a ripple effect that forces the betrayer to do something far more uncomfortable, reevaluate their own motives. When a betrayer wrongs a Sigma, they can't escape the weight of their actions. The Sigma doesn't react with anger or retaliation, but this only makes the betrayal feel more real. Without the chaos of a confrontation, the betrayer is left alone with their thoughts, forced to confront the underlying reasons behind their betrayal. Was it envy, insecurity, selfishness? The Sigma's ability to stand strong without flinching exposes these weaknesses in a way that no heated argument could. This kind of introspection can be brutal. The betrayer is left questioning their own character, wondering how they could have hurt someone who was nothing but genuine and loyal. The guilt is often overwhelming, not just because they wronged the Sigma, but because they now have to face the unpleasant truths about themselves. This painful process of self-reflection forces them to reckon with the flaws that led them to betray someone who was nothing but authentic, leaving them regretting their actions far more than they initially anticipated. Number 6, betrayers lose access to a rare perspective. Betraying a Sigma isn't just a loss of trust, it's a loss of something far more valuable, their unique perspective. Sigmas are known for their ability to see the world in a way few others can. Their unconventional wisdom, honed through introspection and independence, gives them insights that are both rare and profound. They don't just follow trends or go along with the crowd. They think critically, question the status quo, and often offer perspectives that challenge conventional thinking. This is what makes their presence so impactful. When someone betrays a Sigma, they lose access to this rare perspective. Sigmas don't just provide answers. They offer new ways of thinking, encourage deeper reflection, and prompt growth in others. Betrayers often fail to recognize the value of this insight until it's gone. Without the Sigma's influence, they're left grappling with a void, a loss of the intellectual stimulation and emotional depth they once had. The absence of a Sigma's perspective isn't just an intellectual gap, it's an emotional one as well. Sigmas have an uncanny ability to understand people on a level that others simply can't. They don't just listen, they understand motivations, fears, and desires in ways that make others feel seen and heard. Losing that insight leaves the betrayer feeling not just intellectually impoverished, but emotionally lost as well. They realize too late that the Sigma's wisdom wasn't just a luxury, it was an essential part of their growth and understanding. Number 7, they're never truly alone. Sigmas might prefer solitude, but they are never truly alone. They're selective about who they allow into their lives, and this careful curation makes their relationships all the more valuable. While others may view their independence as loneliness, Sigmas understand that their worth doesn't come from being surrounded by people. It comes from the depth of the connections they do make. What others often overlook is that despite their quiet, solitary nature, Sigmas exude a magnetic energy that naturally attracts like-minded individuals who recognize their strength, wisdom, and authenticity. When a betrayer expects the Sigma to fall apart or struggle after betrayal, they're in for a rude awakening. Instead of retreating into isolation, the Sigma grows. They form new, meaningful connections with people who respect them and offer the kind of loyalty the betrayer could never provide. The relationships the Sigma builds are grounded in mutual understanding and admiration, and the betrayer watches from the sidelines as the Sigma flourishes in ways they never imagined. This contrast is often a bitter pill for betrayers to swallow. They assumed that their betrayal would isolate the Sigma or leave them broken. Instead, they witnessed someone they thought they could dismiss attracting even more genuine people, people who understand the Sigma's value and what they bring to the table. For the betrayer, seeing the Sigma thrive and build new, stronger relationships only deepens the regret, reminding them that they lost someone irreplaceable while the Sigma moves forward, never truly alone. Number 8, they attract loyalty from others. One of the most striking things about Sigmas is their natural ability to draw people in. Their quiet confidence, authenticity, and unwavering sense of self make them magnets for loyalty. Even when betrayed, this quality doesn't fade. In fact, it shines brighter. While the betrayer underestimates the Sigma's worth, others take notice and step in, offering the loyalty and support the betrayer failed to give. Sigmas don't beg for attention or approval, which makes the loyalty they inspire even more genuine. People who align themselves with Sigmas do so because they recognize their strength, integrity, and resilience. When a betrayal occurs, it often becomes a turning point where those who truly appreciate the Sigma's value step forward. Whether it's a friend, colleague, or new ally, these individuals fill the void left by the betrayer in ways that feel effortless and natural. For the betrayer, watching this unfold can be a bitter experience. They're forced to confront the reality of their mistake as they see others thriving in the relationship they chose to sabotage. It's a sharp contrast that makes the loss even more painful. While they're left with regret, the Sigma continues to grow their circle of trust, surrounded by people who respect and value them for who they are. The lesson is clear. Betraying a Sigma doesn't diminish their worth. It only amplifies it, attracting the kind of loyalty the betrayer was never capable of offering. Number 9, they are authentic, making guilt inevitable. Sigmas are grounded in authenticity. They don't wear masks or play games. They show up as their true selves in every relationship. Their honesty and integrity set them apart, creating bonds that feel genuine and dependable. When they commit, they mean it. When they speak, they're sincere. It's this rare quality that makes betrayal sting in an unexpected way, not for the Sigma, but for the betrayer. Betrayers often act impulsively or selfishly, without considering the long-term consequences. But when they reflect on what they've done, guilt becomes inevitable. They realize they didn't just hurt someone, they betrayed a person who was real in every sense of the word. A Sigma's authenticity exposes the dishonesty or shallowness in others, forcing the betrayer to confront their own lack of character. This guilt isn't fleeting either. It lingers because Sigmas don't retaliate or engage in drama. They don't seek revenge, but their quiet departure carries an unspoken message. I trusted you, and you broke that trust. That kind of weight is hard to shake. What makes it worse is the contrast. Sigmas hold themselves to high standards, which means the betrayer knows they wronged someone who genuinely cared, someone who didn't deserve it. This realization, combined with the irreplaceable nature of a Sigma, often leaves the betrayer wrestling with regret for far longer than they ever anticipated. While the Sigma moves forward with dignity, the betrayer is left haunted by the weight of their actions. And number 10, their absence is felt on a profound level. Sigmas have a unique way of being present in relationships. They don't demand attention or validation, yet their presence is deeply felt. They offer quiet support, meaningful conversations, and a level of trustworthiness that is rare. They don't make grand gestures or dramatic displays of affection, but the depth of their connection is undeniable. It's the kind of bond you only realize the full value of when it's gone. When betrayed, Sigmas don't waste time arguing or seeking apologies. They simply leave. This isn't a tactic or a game. It's their way of protecting their energy and principles. They don't try to prove their worth or explain why the betrayal was a mistake. They know their value, and they let their absence speak for itself. What's left behind is a void that is almost impossible to fill. Betrayers often find themselves grappling with the loss, realizing that what the Sigma brought to their lives was irreplaceable. Whether it was their insight, loyalty, or calming presence, they offered something genuine, something that can't be manufactured or replicated. The profound regret comes not just from losing the Sigma, but from the realization that the betrayal cost them someone who truly mattered. And by the time that void becomes unbearable, it's too late. The Sigma has already moved on, leaving only the echoes of what once was and a lesson that's hard to forget. Number 11. They know how to turn the tables subtly. Sigmas have a remarkable ability to turn the tables on those who betray them, and they do so without theatrics or malice. They're not driven by revenge, that's beneath them, but by a deep understanding of cause and effect. Sigmas are natural tacticians, analyzing situations with precision and responding in ways that leave lasting impacts. Instead of reacting emotionally, they calculate their next moves carefully, ensuring that the betrayer's actions ultimately backfire. When betrayed, Sigmas don't engage in petty retaliation. Instead, they step back, assess the situation, and adapt. They redirect their energy into self-improvement, strengthening their networks, or pursuing new opportunities. In doing so, they create outcomes where their growth and success become undeniable. Meanwhile, the betrayer is left to face the consequences of their actions, often realizing too late that they've lost far more than they ever stood to gain. What's most striking is the subtlety of it all. Sigmas don't need to announce their victories or point fingers. Their quiet progress speaks volumes. The betrayer, expecting chaos or confrontation, instead sees the Sigma thriving, stronger, wiser, and completely unbothered. This stark contrast forces them to confront their own misjudgment and short-sightedness. In the end, the betrayer is left with regret, not because the Sigma sought to punish them, but because they underestimated someone who knows how to turn setbacks into stepping stones. For a Sigma, the best way to win is simply to rise above, and they do it flawlessly. Number 12, they play the long game without malice. Sigmas are masters of patience and perspective, which is why they never rush to retaliate when betrayed. Unlike those who seek immediate revenge, Sigmas understand the power of time and the inevitability of consequences. They don't act out of malice or spite. Instead, they let the natural flow of events reveal the truth and deliver justice in its own way. When betrayal strikes, Sigmas step back and focus on what truly matters: themselves. They channel their energy into personal growth, their goals, and the things that bring them fulfillment. They know that wasting time plotting revenge only feeds the negativity, and they refuse to let the actions of others disrupt their peace. Instead, they trust that life has a way of balancing the scales, and more often than not, they're proven right. Over time, the betrayer begins to feel the weight of their actions. Without the Sigma's support, wisdom, or presence, their world often starts to shift in ways they didn't anticipate. Mistakes compound, opportunities slip away, and the emptiness left by the Sigma's absence becomes impossible to ignore. What makes this even more powerful is that Sigmas aren't actively seeking the betrayer's downfall. Their lack of malice or revenge leaves no room for the betrayer to justify their actions or shift blame. Instead, they're forced to confront their own choices and the ripple effects those choices have created. In the long game, Sigmas always win, not through force, but through patience, integrity, and an unshakable focus on their own path. In conclusion, betraying a Sigma is a choice that carries consequences far beyond the immediate moment. Sigmas are not ordinary. They operate on a level of independence, authenticity, and self-respect that's rare in today's world. They don't crumble under betrayal. They rise, evolve, and quietly remind the world why underestimating them is a mistake. Their strength isn't loud, but it's unshakable, and their ability to move forward without malice or chaos leaves a lasting impact. Those who betray Sigmas often realize too late what they've truly lost. It's not just about losing trust, it's about losing someone who brought depth, insight, and stability into their lives. Sigmas don't beg for apologies or chase after explanations. They simply adapt, letting their actions speak louder than words and allowing time to reveal the truth. What sets Sigmas apart is their refusal to let betrayal define them. Instead of dwelling on what was taken from them, they focus on what they can create. They turn pain into purpose, setbacks into strength, and loss into a life that thrives without those who wronged them. In the end, the regret always falls on the betrayer. They're left wondering how they misjudged someone so extraordinary, how they let pettiness or selfishness destroy something irreplaceable. For the Sigma, it's just another chapter in their journey, one that reminds them of their worth and reinforces why they never settle for less than they deserve. Thank you for watching, and remember, staying true to who you are is the ultimate power. Dear brothers, if you've enjoyed this deep dive into Sigma, Mals, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Tap the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos, and join the conversation by sharing your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. Remain blessed.